Brief but dense history of China. Prehistoric and ancient China. Paleolithic to Neolithic, human presence in what is now China goes back hundreds of thousands of years. Paleolithic to Neolithic, human presence in what is now China goes back hundreds of thousands of years. There are Homo erectus site, that is domestication of plants and animals, rise of agriculture, cultivation of other plants in Neolithic era. Hello, is there any people joining with me? So now I will explore the history of China. History of China is a survey of important events and people to the history of China from ancient times to the present, occupying nearly the entire East Asian landmass. China covers approximately 1/14 of the length of area of the earth. So, China occupied almost 1/14th of land area of the whole earth. So this is very significant that China has huge land area in the world, and it is almost as large as the whole of Europe. China is also one of the most populous countries in the world, rivaled only by India. So, which according to the United Nations estimates surpassed it in the population in 2023. Hi Gaha, I love you. Nice to meet you, Gaha. This is Raihan. I am from Bangladesh, and yes, thank you to join in my live. Hello. So much of China's cultural development has been accomplished with relatively little outside influence. The introduction of Buddhism from India constitution a major exception. This is Raihan. I am from Bangladesh. This is Raihan. Raihan is with you. Okay, so this relative isolation from the outside world made possible over the centuries the flowering and refinement of the Chinese culture, but it is also left China ill prepared to cope with that world when. Okay, so Gaha, he is from Cambodia. Thank you, Gaha. Gaha, could you please mention your name, please? I think it's not your name. Ellis mini vlog. Also watch my video. Welcome back, Ellie mini vlog. I think we introduced before. So Gaha from Cambodia. The followed century of decline and decrepitude as China found itself relatively helpless in the face of foreign onslaught. The trauma of this external challenge became the catalyst for a revolution that began in the early 20th century against the old regime and culminated. Okay, so Gaha. Okay, Gaha asking for something. You can join with Gaha. So you guys can comment in my channel so that I can remember you after that live. So please do a comment. Okay. This event reshaped global political geography, and China has since come to rank among most influential countries in the world. The trauma of this external challenge became the catalyst for a revolution that began in the early 20th century against the old regime and culminated in the establishment of a communist government in 1949. This event reshaped global political geography, and China has since come to rank among the most influential countries in the world. So, hi Gaha. Prehistory in China, archaeology in China. The practice of archaeology in China has been rooted in modern Chinese history. The intellectual and political reformers of the 1920s challenged the history of the legendary inventors of China culture, such as Shang, the divine farmer, and Hongdi, the yellow emperor. At the same time, scientific study so at the same time scientific study of the prehistoric period was being sponsored. Hello, there are 9 people are watching me. Please say hi, hello. Where are you from? Please do comment so that I can search you in later after the ending of this live. So at the same time, scientific study of the prehistoric period was being sponsored by the Western archaeologist and paleoanthropologist. The establishment of Academia Senior Chinese Academy of Science in 1928 enabled Chinese scholars to study Chinese archaeology for themselves, and preparations are made for large-scale excavation. Notable work was done under the direction of archaeologists and in Hana province, but this was suspended with the outbreak of the Sino-Japanese War in 1932. Okay. The civil war of the late 1940s and the subsequent social disruption further delayed any resumption of systematic archaeological excavation and publication. However, as the Cultural Revolution waned in the mid 1970s, work began again the earnest, and Chinese Association of Archaeology was established in 1979. The modernizing nation began to produce scholarship increasingly informed by scientific analysis in a quantity and quality commensurate with its size and its traditions of learning. Early human, the fossil record in Chinese promises fundamental contribution to the understanding of human origin. There is considerable evidence of Homo erectus by the time of Lower Paleolithic. Old Stone Age began about 2.5 million years ago and ended 10,000 years ago at sites such as Lantian, Shanxi, Hexian, Wanmao, and the most famous that of Peking Man at Zhoukoudian, Beijing municipality. Hi, hello. So, is my sound clear here? So, Gaha is active member here. I want to acknowledge Gaha. So, could you please mention your full name in the chat box? The lower cave at Zhoukoudian was yielded evidence of intermittent human use from the about 4,60,000 to 23 lakh years ago, and fossils of Peking man found in the complex have been dated at about 7 lakh and 70,000 years ago. Many caves and other sites in Anhui, Hebei, Shandong, Shanxi, and Shaanxi in northern China and the Huzhu and Hubei in the south suggest that Ace erectus achieved wide distribution in China. Whether Ace erectus parkinesis internationally used fire and practiced ritual cannibalism are matters under debate. So 9 people are watching me, so you can say hi. And where are you from? Please do a comment. Put a comment on the chat box. Significant age sapiens, cranial and dental fragments have been found together with Middle Paleolithic artifacts. Such assemblies have been unearthed at Ingjan city. A number of widely distributed age erectus sites dating from the about 1.8 million years ago during the early Paleocene epoch manifest considerable regional and temporal diversity. Upper Paleolithic sites are numerous in northern China. Thousands of stone artifacts, most of them small, have been found. For example, at near Anyang. Hi, hello, Gaha. Thank you, Gaha. Thank you for commenting me. So Neolithic period, the complex of development in stone tool technology, food production, and storage and social organization that is often characterized as the Neolithic revolution was in progress in China, but by at least the 6th millennium BCE, development during the Chinese Neolithic period, New Stone Age, to establish some of the major cultural dimensions of the subsequent Bronze Age. Thank you, Gaha. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Climate and environment. Although the precise nature of the paleo environment is still in dispute, temperature in Neolithic China are probably some 4 to 7 degree Fahrenheit, that is for 2 to 4 degrees Celsius warmer than they are today. Precipitation, although more abundant, may have been declining in quantity. The Queen in north central China separated the two phytogeographical zones of northern and southern China, while the absence of such a mountain barrier further east encourages a more uniform environment and the freer movement of Neolithic peoples about the North China Plain. East China, particularly toward the south, may have been covered with thick vegetation, some deciduous forest, and scattered marsh. The lowest plateau north and west of the Queen Mountains is thought to have been drier and even semi-arid, with some coniferous forest growing on the hills and with brush and open woodland in the valleys. Hi Gaha, Gaha is enjoying my life. Thank you for participating in my life. So, food production. The primary Neolithic crops domesticated by the 5th millennium BCE are drought resistant, grown on the Aeolian and alluvial loess soil of the northeast and the north, and glutinous rice grown. Thank you, Gaha, for participating. You are providing me a valuable time in my life, and you can say, how can I help you? If you need any help, I'm trying to help you. So thank you, thanks again. That most, if not all, of these plants are native to China indicates the degree to which Neolithic culture developed indigenously. Hi. There is some issue. I can't say hi in the chat box. It's my, I think there is a problem. Yes. Thank you, Gaha. Thank you. So, Gaha, could you mention your full name, please? Could you mention your full name? So, the stone tools used to clear and prepare the land reveal generally improving technology. Okay, there was increasing use of ground and polished edge and perforation. Regional variation of shape included oval shape exists in the central and northeast China, square and trapezoid shape exists in the east. Oh, thank you, Gaha. I will help you. Don't be Buddha. I will help you. Connect with me, and also I will help you. No problem. By the late Neolithic, this decrease in the proportion of stone ages to edges suggest the increasing dominance of permanent agriculture and a reduction in the opening up of new land. The burial in high status graves are finally polished, perforated stone and jet tools such as X's and edges with no sign of age indicates the symbolic role such emblems of work had come to play by the 4th and 3rd millennia. Major culture and site, there was not one Chinese Neolithic but a mosaic of regional culture whose scope and significance are still being determined. Their location in the area defined today as China doesn't necessarily mean that all the Neolithic culture are Chinese or even Proto-Chinese. Their contribution to the Bronze Age civilization of the Shang, which may be taken as unmistakably Chinese in both culture as well as geographical terms, needs to be assessed in each case. In addition, the presence of a particular ceramic ware doesn't necessarily define a cultural horizon. Translational phase, both chronological and geographical, aren't discussed in the detail in the following paragraph. Incipient of Neolithic. So, study of the historical reduction of the size of human teeth suggests that the first human beings to eat cooked food did so in southern China. The sites of Zhenlendong in Jiangxi and Zhangjian in Zhuangzi have yielded artifacts from the 10th to 7th millennium BCE and include low-fired court marked with some incised decoration and mostly chipped stone tools. These pots have been used for cooking and storage. Pottery and stone tools from the shell mountains in southern China also suggest incipient Neolithic occupation. So, Gaha, could you please mention your full name here, please? These early southern sites may have been related to the Neolithic Baeksan culture in Vietnam. Connections to the subsequent Neolithic culture of northwestern and northern Chinese have yet to be demonstrated. 6th millennium BCE, two major cultures can be identified in the northeast: Lao Guan Thai in eastern and southern Shangji of northwestern Henan and Dadiwan. Development of Laoguan Thai culture in eastern Gansu and western Shanxi. The forts in both cultures are low-fired, sand-tempered, and mainly red in color. And balls with three stubby feet or ring feet are common. The painted bands of this pottery may represent the start of painted pottery culture. In modern China, the people of Beilangong made a less use of thought marking and painted design of the pots than did those at Dadiwan. The variety of their stone tools, including sawtooth sickles, indicates the importance of agriculture. The Chichen potters employed a more hot market decoration and made a greater variety of forms. Hi, hello people, how are you? Please do a comment to me. I will mention your name. I will utter your name in my live. I discovered two pottery models of silcum crystallite to 70 shuttle-like objects at a 6th millennium BCE site at the Nanjang suggests the early production of silk, the characteristic Chinese textile. Please do a like button in the live and please say where are you from and how can I help you. Please mention in the live. So I think there are some people are watching me. So where are you from? What is your name? How can I help you? How can we introduce ourselves? Please do a comment in my live. The lowest atom of the Beisholing culture is represented by finds along the Wei and Jing rivers, both deep-bodied jugs and three-footed vessels, mainly red in color, are common. The lower stratum of the related Bampo culture, also in the Wei River drainage area, was characterized by quad market red or red-brown, especially round and flat bottom balls and painted bottom amphor. The Banpo inhabitants lived in particularly subterranean houses and are supported by a mixed economy of blended agriculture, hunting and gathering. The importance of fishing is confirmed by design of stylized fish painted on a few of the poles and by numerous hooks and net sneakers. So there is a people watching me. Please do do a high in my life, please. In the East, by the start of the 5th millennium, the Byzantine culture in central and southern Shandong and northern Jiangsu was characterized by fine clay or sand-tempered pots decorated with comb marking, incised and impressed design and narrow appliqued bands. Artifacts include many three-legged, deep-bodied tripod, goblet-like serving vessel. Hi, hello, how are you everyone? How are you? Artifacts include many three-legged, deep-bodied tripod, goblet-like serving vessel, bowls, and pot support. Haugang remains have been found in southern Hebei and central Henan. The vessels are finished on a slow wheel, are mainly red-colored and had been fired at high heat. They include a jar's tripod and a round bottom, flat bottom, and a ring-footed poles. No pointed amphorae have been found, and there are few painted designs. A characteristic red band under the rim of most gray balls was produced during the firing process. Archaeologists have generally classified the lower strata of Beisholing Bampo and Haugang culture under the rubric of painted pottery culture, but two questions should be noted. First, a distinction may have existed between a more westerly culture in the Wei Valley, early Beisholing and early Bampo, that was rooted in the Laowan Thai culture, and a more easterly one that developed from the Wilgang and Jishan culture. Second, since only 2 to 3% of the bamboo pots are painted, the designation painted pottery culture seems premature. In the region of the lower Changi River, the Himudu site in southern has yielded caldrons, cups, bowls, and pots supported made of porous, charcoal-tempered black pottery. The site is remarkable for its wooden and bone farming tools, the bird design carved on the bone and ivory. So there is one people is watching me. So hi Gaha, are you watching me now? The Qingliang culture, which succeeded that of Hindu in Jinzhou, northern Jinzhou and southern Shandong, was characterized by ring-footed and flat-bottomed pots, early fine fast red wire cave, way in the later period of fine fast gray and black wire. Polished stone artifacts include axes and spades, some perforated and jet ornament. Another descendant of Himudu culture was that of Maziabang, which had close ties with the Qinglingan culture in southern Jinzhou, northern Jinji, and Shanghai in southeastern China, thought marketed pottery horizon represented by the site of Pupudon on the island of Puimoi. 4th and 3rd millennia BCE, a true painted pottery culture developed in the northeast, partly from the Wei Valley and Pampo tradition of the 5th millennium. The Maodingu Eye horizon dated from the first life of the 4th millennium produced varnish balls and basins of fine red pottery, some 15% of which are painted generally in black with broad spiral and sinuous lines. It was succeeded by a variety of Majiao culture in eastern Guangzhou, eastern Qinghai, and northern Shishu. About one-third of Majiao vessels are decorated on the upper two-thirds of the body with a variety of design in black pigment, multi-armed radial spiral painted with calligraphic A's. Hi, how are you from? There are 3 people watching me. Please mention your name in the chat box. I will pronounce your name with that. So please do subscribe, do like, and support each other. So how can I help you? Please do comment. Creative design involving sawtooth lines, gut-shaped panels, spiral and zoomorphic stick figure are painted on parts of the Banshan and Mashang culture. Some two-thirds of the pots found in the Mashang burial area at Lawan in Gangchai, for example, are painted in the North China plain. The He culture site contain a mixture of Maodium and Eastern types, indicating that a meeting of 2 major traditions was taking place in the area in the late 4th millennium. In the northeast, the Hangshan culture, 4th millennium and probably earlier, was centered in western Liaoning and eastern Inner Mongolia. It was characterized by small bowl, fine redware serving stands, painted pottery, and microliths, name-jade amulets in the form of bars, talents, and coil dragon reveals strong affiliation with the other jade working culture of the East Coast, such as Liangji. In East China, the Lowlin and Huating site in northern Jingzi represent regional culture that derive in large part from that of the upper strata, also saw strong affinities with contemporary Dianhu site in the southern Shangdu. In the middle and lower Yangtze River Valley during the 4th and 3rd millennia, the Taxi and Huaxialing culture shared a significant number of traits, including rice-producing ring-footed vessel goblet with sharply angled profile, ceramic holes, and a black pottery with design painted in red after firing. Characteristics ceramic object not generally found in Daxi cities. In the middle and lower Yangtze River Valley, during okay, one people has voted that he is not enjoying my video. Thank you for commenting. Okay, so characteristic Huaxiling ceramic object not generally found in Daxi site include eggshell thin goblet and balls painted with black or orange design, a double-waisted balls, tall, ring-footed goblet and serving stand, and many style of tripod. Admirably executed and painted clay hall suggest a thriving textile industry. The chronological distribution of ceramic features suggest a transmission from taxi to quasi-link, but the precise relationship between the two cultures has been much debated. The Machiavellian culture in the Lake Basin was succeeded during the 4th millennium by that of Shang. The pots increasingly wheel-made are predominantly clay-tempered grey tripod with a variety of leg shapes, serving stand, key pitchers with handles, and goblet with petal-shaped feet are characteristic. Ring feet are used. So, hello, people. How are you? Where are you from? And triangular and circular perforation are cut to form openwork designed on the short stem serving stand. A variety of jade ornament, a feature of Kunjilang culture, has been excavated from Shangji burial site of the Liangzhu culture from the last half of the 4th to the last half of the 3rd millennia have generally been found in the same area. The pots are mainly wheel-made, clay-tempered grey with a black skin and are produced by reduction firing. Oxidized redware was less prevalent. Some of the serving stand and tripod shape have evolved from Meziabang, while other vessel forms included long-necked whippicha. The walls of some vessels are black throughout, eggshell thin, and varnish resembling those found in late Neolithic site in Shandong. Extravagant numbers of highly worked jade heads and tubes are placed in certain burials, such as one of at Sudan that contained 57 of them. Liangzhu farmer had developed a characteristic triangular shale plough for cultivating the wet soil of the region. Fragments of the woven silk from about 300 BCE have been found at Guangxiang along the southeast coast and the Taiwan. The Dipenkeng hoarded culture emerged during the 4th and 3rd millennia. The culture with a full inventory of pot and tool types than had previously been seen in the area developed in part from that. Fogodun but may also have been influenced by culture to the west and north, including and Liulin. The pots are characterized by incised line pattern on neck and rim, low perforated foot rims, and some painted decoration. Regional culture of the late Neolithic. By the 3rd millennium BCE, the regional culture in the area discussed about short increased sign of interaction and even convergence that they are frequently referred to as a varieties of Langshan culture 2500 to 2000 BCE of East Central Shandong, characterized by its lustrous eggshell thin blackware, suggests to the degree to which this culture are thought to have experienced Eastern influence. That influence differs in origin of the varying intensity, entered the North China plain from sites such as Dadonggi and Duanghu to the east, and also moved up the Han River from the Huizilang area to the south. Hello people, how are you? The influence in origin and the varying intensity entered the North China plain from sites such as Dadonggi and Duanghu to the east, and also moved up the Han River from the Huizilang area to the south. A variety of Western features are evident in the ceramic objects of the period, including use of the first wheel, unpainted surface, sharply angled profile, and eccentric shape. There was a greater production of gray and black rather than red. Componential construction was emphasized, in which legs, spouts, and handles are appended to the basic from which might itself have been built sectionally. Greater elevation was achieved. Greater elevation was achieved by means of ring feet and tail legs. Ceramic objects included three-leg tripod, steamer cooking vessel, quivering pitcher, serving stand, fitted lids, cups and goblet, and asymmetric buoy vessels for carrying water that were flattened on side to lie against a person's body. Say hi, 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 hello, hi, hello. In stone and jet object, Eastern influence is Hello Gaha, are you hearing me? Although the first primitive version of the Eastern ceramic types may have been made on occasion in the North China Plain in virtually every virtually every case these types are elaborated in the East and given more precise functional definition, greater structural strength and greater aesthetic coherence. Hello people. One people is watching me. Please mention your name. Please mention your name. I will recall you. I will recall you to like and subscribe my channel. So, religious belief and social organization. The inhabitants of Neolithic Chinese were by the 5th millennium, if not earlier, assiduous. Remarkably assiduous in the attention they paid to the disposition and commemoration of their dead. So, could you please mention what is the meaning of assiduous? What is the meaning of assiduous? If you know, please do a comment. So, remarkably assiduous in the attention they paid in the disposition. So, what is the meaning of disposition? Then after the what is commemoration of the dead? What is commemoration? There was a consistency of orientation and posture with the dead of the northeast given a westerly orientation and those of the east in easterly one. The dead are segregated frequently in the what appeared to be kinship grouping. These were graveside ritual offerings of liquid pig skull and pig jaws, and the demanding practice of collective secondary burial, in which the bones of up to 7 to 8 corpus were stripped of their flesh and reviewed together, was extensively practiced as early as the first half of the 5th millennium. Hello people. One people is asking me, who are you? Please mention your name, please. Mention your name or do a comment here. Hello people, hello. Do like. Hello. Could you please mention your name? How can I help you? লাইভে কি কোনো বাংলাদেশি শুনছেন? One people is hearing me. Hi my friend, please mention your name. Please do a like in my live so that more people can connect with each other. Hey people, religious belief and social organization. The inhabitants of Neolithic China at the 5th millennium of not earlier remarkably assiduous in the attention they paid to the disposition and commemoration of their dead. There was a consistency of orientation and posture with the dead of the northeast. There was a consistency of orientation and posture with the dead of the northeast given a westerly orientation and those of the east to the easterly one. The dead are segregated frequently in what appeared to be kinship grouping. There were graveside ritual offerings of liquid pigs, cows, and pig jaws, and the demanding practice of collective secondary burial in which the bones of up to 7 to 8 corpses are stripped of their flesh and reviewed together was extensively practiced as early as the first half of the 5th millennium. Evidence of divination using scapulae dating from the end of the 4th millennium from the implies the existence of ritual specialists. There was a lavish expenditure of energy by the 3rd millennium on tomb ramps and coffin chamber, and on the burial of redundant quantities of expensive grave goods. Okay, so presumably for use by the dead in some early life. Presumably. So what does it mean of presumably? Okay. Although there is no firm archaeological evidence of a shift from matrilineal to patrilineal society, the goods buried in graves indicate during the course of the 4th and 3rd millennia an increase in global wealth. The gradual emergence of private or lineage property and increase in social differentiation and gender distinction of work roles and uh, reduction in the relative wealth of women. The occasional practice of human sacrifice or accompanying death from scattered 4th and 3rd millennium site suggests that the ties of dependency and obligation are conceived as continuing beyond death, and that women are likely to be in the dependent position. Early forms of ancestor worship, together with all that they imply for social organization and obligation among the living, are deeply rooted and extensively developed by the late Neolithic period. Such religious belief and practice undoubtedly serve to validate and encourage the decline of the much egalitarian societies of earlier periods. The first historical dynasty, the Shang. Hey. Hi, good people. Hello, hello, hello. Could you please mention your name? Hmm? The advent of bronze casting. The 3rd and 2nd millennia are marked by the appearance of increasing warfare, complex urban settlement, intense status, differentiation and administrative and religious hierarchies and legitimated and control the massive mobilization of labor for dynastic warfare. The casting of bronze left the most evident archaeological trace of this momentous change, its introduction must be seen as part of a far larger shift in the nature of society as a whole, representing an intensification of the social and religious practice of the Neolithic. Hello, people. Please do a comment in the chat box. Paleolithic period, sorry, dating the mid-5th millennium may be dimly perceived. A growing number of 3rd millennium sites, primarily in the northeast, but also in Henan and Shandong, have yielded primitive knives, awls, and drills made of copper and bronze. Stylistic evidence such as the sharp angles, flat bottoms, and sharp handles of certain Ouija clay pots has led some scholars to posit an early sheet or wrought metal tradition possibly introduced from the West by migrating Indo-European peoples, but no wrought metal objects have been found. Amazing tea, thank you. The construction of backing of the clay course and sectional pitch molds employed in Chinese bronze casting of the 2nd millennium indicate that early metal working in China rapidly adopted to, if it didn't develop indigenously from, the sophisticated high-heat ceramic technology of the late Neolithic potters who were already using ceramic molds and cores to produce forms such as the hollow legs of the leek cooking cauldron. Chinese bronze casting represent as a continuity in a vessel shape suggests an aesthetic and technological extension of that ceramic tradition rather than its replacement. The bronze cast of preference for vessel elevated on a ring feet or leg further suggests aesthetic links to the east rather than the northwest. The number, complexity, and size, the Shimui tetrapod weighted 1925 pounds, 875 kg of the late Shang ritual vessel reveal high technological competence made to large-scale, labor-intensive metal production. Bronze casting of this scale and character includes large group of ore miners, fuel gatherers, ceramists, and foundry workers under the prescriptive control of the model designer and labor coordinators. And with the prescriptive control of the model designer and labor coordinators must be understood as a manifestation both technological and social of the high value that Shang culture places on hierarchy, social discipline, and central direction in all walks of life. The prestige of winning this metal object must have derived in part from the political control over others that their production implied. Chinese legend of the 1st millennium BCE describes the labors of Yu, the Chinese Noah, who drained away the flood to render Chinese habitable and established the first Chinese dynasty called Jia. 17 Jia kings are listed in the Shaiji, a comprehensive history written during the 1st century BCE, and mass ingenuity has been devoted to identifying certain late Neolithic fortified sites such as Wangshan in north central Han and side southern Shenzhen style. A related approach has been to identify as a Jia, an archaeological horizon that lies developmentally between late Neolithic and Shang strata. The Shang dynasty, the first Chinese dynasty to leave statistical reports, it thought to have ruled from about 1600 to 1000 BCE. 1000. What is this? What is this? Hello good people, this is biscuit and this is tea. If I put the biscuit into the tea, then
বাবা
চা ওখানে সব মজা আছে The Shang dynasty, the first Chinese dynasty to leave historical records, is thought to have ruled from the about 16 to 1046 BCE. Some scholars date the Shang from the mid 18th to late 12th century BCE. So this is high time I should left the live. So thank you for joining with me and goodbye. I'll be back with another live. Thanks again.